Hi, everyone. My name is Katie Laughlin, and I'm a regulated Canadian immigration consultant with CanStart Immigration. I'm also the owner of CanStart Immigration, and I'm coming to you from Vancouver, British Columbia, Canada. I'm honored today to be able to present to you at the Canada Virtual Expo. This seminar is pre-recorded, but I will be answering questions in the chat window on your screen. I will also post my contact information on the very last slide of this presentation in case you want to contact me with further questions, or you can hop over to my virtual booth during today's expo where you can chat with me live. I know that you're taking part in today's expo because you're either planning to or thinking of planning to come to Canada, and planning is definitely the first step. So good on you for getting this far. So I am today going to be presenting on the 10 most common mistakes made by people wanting to emigrate to Canada. So I'm going to turn on my slides. Okay. Number 1, I only speak English, so I don't have to take the IELTS test. Yes, you do. Immigration Canada requires proof of ability in one of Canada's 2 official languages, so either English or French. So if you want to take the English test, you can do either IELTS or CELPIP. They're both the same. IELTS is the one that's available in most countries around the world. CELPIP is mostly only offered within Canada and some select countries, but they're both the same. CELPIP is just the Canadian version. And if you speak French, you'll want to take the TEF test, and that is offered in most countries as well. And remember, it's regardless of where you live, it doesn't matter what your mother tongue is, doesn't matter where you went to school. If you are applying for permanent residency, you will be required to take a language test, okay? Some PR programs don't require it. For instance, if you're being sponsored by a family member, but always check with a consultant or lawyer to be sure. And remember, language tests are not required for temporary residence applications like visiting, working, and studying. You may be required to take a language test to get into a school in Canada, but not for the actual study permit application, okay? Number 2, I don't need to translate my documents. If your documents are in any other languages besides one of Canada's 2 official languages, which are English and French, then you are required to submit the original and a certified translation, okay? So again, Canada has 2 official languages. So make sure you do hire a certified translator, okay? And always make sure to include a copy of the original and the translation. And yes, even bank statements must be translated because there is text on bank statements, okay? All right, number 3, I hired a consultant, but they seem sketchy. Yes. Are they regulated? That's the first thing you want to check. Check to see if your representative is a member in good standing of the Immigration Consultants of Canada Regulatory Council. So I'm a member in good standing of ICCRC, and my name is listed on the ICCRC website, which I've posted here. Immigration Canada recognizes both regulated Canadian immigration consultants and lawyers as authorized representatives. And it really does break my heart when I hear of people getting ripped off by fraudulent immigration services, or as we call them, ghost consultants. So please do your homework and ensure that your consultant or lawyer is regulated and member of good standing. And if they're a lawyer, they need to be a member of a bar association. Remember to always sign a retainer agreement. If you're hiring anyone and paying them money, you must sign some kind of contract, okay? Because if something goes wrong down the road, you have that retainer agreement in case you have to go into any legal battle, okay? So it will really save you. Also, never sign any blank forms. So if your immigration consultant or lawyer sends you forms or letters that are blank and they just want your signature, that's not a good sign either, okay? Also make sure that all the forms, agreements, contracts that you sign have the name of the person or the company you've actually hired in them. So if you met John Smith from ABC company and then the retainer agreement or a form says a different company or a different name of a person, that is a red flag as well. You'll definitely want to check and make sure that the person representing you is who you think they are, okay? And remember, you are absolutely 100% under no obligation to hire an immigration consultant or lawyer to do your immigration application for you, okay? It is not required, it is your choice. Okay, number 4. An immigration consultant can find me a job. People often reach out to me on Facebook and email asking to help them to find jobs. Immigration consultants and lawyers are not recruiters. They cannot find you a job in Canada unless they're both an immigration consultant and a licensed recruiter, but most are not. Most don't do both jobs. These are separate jobs in Canada, okay? You should always use a licensed recruiter if you need help finding a job or communicate with the employer directly, okay? You may end up working with a recruiter and a consultant, so recruiter to find you a job, consultant to do the immigration piece, or the employer and an immigration consultant if you're doing it directly with the employer, okay? And remember, never, ever, ever pay anyone to find you a job in Canada, okay? Employers hire and pay recruiters to find candidates. The candidates don't pay, the employers pay, okay? So just be careful on that. Number 5, I don't need a consultant. My friend is helping me. Nice friend, but stop, okay? It is actually illegal to give immigration advice if you're not a regulated consultant, okay? Regulated Canadian immigration consultants and lawyers have passed mandatory education requirements, testing, and ongoing professional development coursework, okay? We do this for a living. Every application is different. Of all my clients, no two are exactly alike. Everyone has different backgrounds, different histories, different requirements, and different issues with their applications. We do this every day, okay? So we know the most up-to-date policies and requirements. We speak the language of Immigration Canada, okay? People come to me all the time who've been refused because they have uploaded the wrong version of a form or an expired language test, simple mistakes that a professional would know to look for, okay? Immigration Canada system often has glitches, yes, or require workarounds in some cases. And a professional like myself will know how to navigate these issues for you and how to continue submitting your application even if there are glitches. And remember, if you are refused for permanent residency or for an application, you have to start from scratch, okay? You're not given the opportunity to redo your application or correct your mistake. You literally start from scratch. Your time and your money is valuable to you, okay? It could actually end up costing you a lot more and undue stress if you do your application on your own or with a friend, okay? Hiring a representative, I always tell people, like, do you cut your own hair? Maybe you do, I don't. But if you need someone to do your hair or fix your car or do your taxes, who do you go to? You go to a professional, you go to an expert, okay? And that's exactly the same with immigration. Immigration is life-changing, okay? This is a big deal, what you're doing. So don't put something this important in the hands of someone who is not a professional, okay? And it actually might be more affordable than you think. I wouldn't have any clients if it wasn't affordable. So shop around. Some consultants charge more than lawyers, some lawyers charge more than consultants, but it has to be affordable for the client. So it might be more affordable than you think and would be a really good option for you. And again, you're under no obligation to hire an immigration consultant or lawyer to do your immigration application. The choice is always yours. Number 6, I can just apply for a work permit and go to Canada. Not quite. You actually have to be eligible for a specific stream or program in order to apply for a work permit. And Canada has over 70 immigration options, which includes study permits, work permits, permanent residency. So there are two types of work permits. I won't go into study and visitor because those are pretty straightforward, but there are two types of work permits and people don't often understand this. There's open and employer specific. So there's only two kinds of open work permits that you can apply for from outside of Canada. The first one is a work permit under IEC, International Experience Canada, or as we all like to say, working holiday visa, okay? The other one is a spousal open work permit. So if your spouse is coming to Canada to work or study, you as the accompanying spouse can get a spousal open work permit, okay? All other work permits, besides those two, okay, are employer specific, meaning that you have to be sponsored by an employer to get a work permit to come to Canada. These work permits name the employer on the work permit and you can only work for that employer, okay? So do your homework to see what you're eligible for. Book a consultation with a consultant or a lawyer to discuss your options and what you're eligible for. And again, you're under no obligation to hire an immigration consultant or lawyer, but a good idea is to have a consultation with one to see if you're going in the right direction. And a consultation is not hiring me or another consultant or lawyer. It's simply just getting some advice. Okay, number 7, I'm too old to apply for permanent residency. Canada has over 70 immigration options, as I just mentioned, okay? And the older you are, that means that you are more skilled. You have more skilled work experience, which makes you more attractive to employers in Canada. And you're more likely to be sponsored from outside of Canada, okay? I would suggest that you consider provincial nominee programs. So every province in Canada has their own unique immigration programs based on what those provinces need to attract to their province, okay? So look at the different provinces. Maybe there's a province you didn't consider living in before, but there's a program in that province that you're eligible for, okay? You can also look at pilot projects. So example, the Rural Northern Immigration Pilot or the Atlantic Immigration Pilot. And these are where you can get a job offer and permanent residency eventually in smaller, more remote towns that are in need of new immigrants. So if you're willing to live anywhere and you're not looking at a specific city or province, that definitely opens up more doors for you. And remember, you are never too old to learn. So you can come to Canada as a student and apply for PR that route. And you can even work up to 20 hours a week while here in Canada on a study permit. So you can, work and earn some money on the side, okay? You're never too old. Number 8, if I get a working holiday visa, my spouse can come with me. Nope. This program is not for family reunification, okay? So the working holiday visa, they need to get their own if you want to come that route, okay? But if you come to Canada on an employer-specific work permit, so if you've been sponsored, or if you come on a study permit, then yes, your spouse can get a spousal open work permit. This is actually a really good strategy for couples who are not able to apply for PR from outside of Canada, but are able to come to Canada to work. If one of them wants to go to school, the other one gets a spousal open work permit so they could work full time and support the couple. And then eventually they both will qualify for permanent residency. I do a lot of those type of applications for couples of all ages who are not able to get a job offer in Canada and who want to come to Canada and start working towards permanent residency. So that is a really good strategy. One of you comes to study, the other one works. Number 9, if I can't get a job in Canada, I can't get permanent residency. Come to Canada as a student. There's always a way. If you graduate from a designated learning institution that is eligible for post-grad work permits, you get express entry points for having studied in Canada, and you also get an open work permit to help you accumulate your 1 year of skilled work experience. So you can come to Canada to do a degree, but you don't have to. You can do a 1-year diploma, a 2-year diploma. And like I said, if once you graduate from a designated learning institution or a DLI, as we like to say, that is eligible for postgrad work permits, and usually those are public institutions, okay, you get what's called a postgraduate work permit afterwards. And if you study for 1 year, you get a 1-year postgrad work permit. If you study for 2 years or more, you get a 3-year postgrad work permit. And in that time, you can accumulate 1 or 2 years of skilled work in Canada. And then with that skilled work plus your Canadian education, you'll definitely get enough points to apply for PR through express entry, okay? And number 10, I can just move to Canada, be self-employed, and get permanent residency. Nope, sorry. Self-employed work in Canada does not count towards express entry points or your 1 year of skilled work, okay? You might be able to claim self-employed work outside of Canada for points, but depends on the work. So if you are outside of Canada and you are self-employed and that's what you do for a living, you would have to get a job offer. You would have to be employed in Canada in order to come and work in Canada and use that work towards express entry, towards permanent residency. If you came to Canada and were still self-employed, even if it was for a Canadian employer, you wouldn't be able to use that work experience towards express entry. But you can use self-employed work outside of Canada, but it just depends on what the work is and how you are able to prove it, okay? Okay, so as I mentioned, you are under no obligation to hire a legal representative or a consultant, but it is always a good idea to have an initial consultation with one. And again, a consultation does not mean that you are hiring us. It just means that you are coming to us for some advice and to look at your options for coming to Canada, okay? So make sure that the RCIC or Regulated Canadian Immigration Consultant that you're booking a consultation with is in good standing with the ICCRC. Consultation with me at CanStart Immigration includes a 60-minute consultation via Zoom, a detailed summary of your immigration options, and also a few follow-up questions in case you have any questions you forgot to ask me. And for those of you attending the virtual expo today, I am offering 25% off my consultation rate if you book a consultation with me. Just mention the expo when you email me and I'll apply the discount, okay? And here is my contact information if you want to send me an email or check out my website. I am also on Facebook. And I want to thank all of you for attending the expo today, for coming to my seminar. I hope that you have obtained lots of great information and resources to help you fulfill your dream of coming to Canada. And I hope we see you here soon. Thanks.